All right, I've been having some camera blur issues, so this review was a little bit delayed. I meant to do it sooner. We're reviewing the episodes 3 through 6, Young Justice. So these 3 episodes are mostly self-contained, a departure from the previous three-part Markovia arc. Much more slow, less tense, less action-packed. Pretty much time to relax, reconnect, and give the new characters time to settle in. The title cards, I don't know if I pointed this out, but the title cards have a Mass Effect feel and tone to them. If you're familiar with Mass Effect 3, and the credits themselves, they're really soft and soothing and calm. It's almost like "Don't go away, man," or like trying to put you to sleep after you've watched this or something. I don't know, but episode 4 is largely comedy. Dick in the Harbors on a private security job in the sense of just everyday occupational life uh, to bring home money. A day in the life of superheroes being their secret identities. It's pretty interesting, though. We get a lot of comedy, a slow mo walk, which is really, really funny because they're just in like security uniforms. Um, Great back and forth banter taking place in the car mostly. And And there seems to be some subtle focus sprinkled throughout these 3 episodes on some virtual reality gaming tech that may turn out to be a big deal. I don't know though. Uh, there's a WB logo on the fence of an electronic warehouse where they're supposed to guard the tech. And there's a teenager running through the park with a Superman shirt on and a VR headset. Like that's one of the things. Like I said, there seems to be some sort of subtle thing going on in the background where it's not really all that subtle, honestly. I mean, it's like everybody's interacting with this VR tech that could turn out to be a problem later. Otherwise, I don't know why they put so much focus on it if it wasn't gonna come up later. Anyways, we get nice, everyday life stuff from all the characters in here. A little growth from the new ones, which unfortunately Halo was race changed for this cartoon, which is overly ridiculous in animation. Like it's ridiculous enough in movies that they feel like they have to virtue signal to other races and hand them a character instead of creating a whole new one. That it's identity politics. But she's a great character in here, though. She is. Um, we get Doctor Fate. Always like seeing Doctor Fate, man. Awesome. We got Doctor Fate and Zatanna, and that's another one I always like seeing. But digging the guys back at the warehouse, we're like, nobody's gonna steal this stuff in broad daylight. And then we cut to Brick. I'm gonna steal this stuff in broad daylight. I'm not gonna try to put too many spoilers in there, but I do want to highlight moments like that just really funny. Uh, but this episode served to put Dick back on track with the previous mission and flesh out characters. That's pretty much all that one was about. Episode 4 got a bit more divided in terms of direction. They seemed to put a lot of focus on stuff going on that wasn't really. I'm not really sure the relevance it has to the overall arc, but it did give us another character, and maybe that was the whole point. But it had a plot that revolved around racial tensions, misleadingly being encouraged, Orion and the New Gods, and the bug race between them. Miss Martian brings along Blue Beetle, Static Shock, Wonder Girl, and so on to help with the New Gods and Forager of the bug race to figure out the problem. And it was cool to see, some Static Shock and stuff like that in here because we haven't got too much into those characters yet this season. I'd like to see more of them. This is just don't really get anything get any real substance from them. You get action. That's pretty much what's going on in here. And it's this episode is very colorful. It has a fair amount of action, but it felt like it was trying to do something political, social justice like. It didn't agree with me. The other side of things, helping characters evolve their powers, Halo and Brian or Brian. I can't remember exactly how they pronounce his name. I think it's like Brian. That was good stuff. Very funny. Badgering him with focus and precision, trying to train him, and he's like, I know. And all they really did is serve to piss him off and throw him off. He was doing good before they had to come in there and put pressure on him. And then the whole new thing where he has to cover himself, that was very funny. You could tell the writing characters have aged with their audience, so the material is more mature. I forgot to point out that Beast Boy has his own ridiculous TV show. Like, they show a scene of him and they're discussing how it doesn't make sense. Anyways, but for Miss Martian and her team, their mission is largely a failure in this episode. And Forager joins our cast, another fleeing refugee. I just hope things don't get overtly social justice, because there's been enough of that and everything else, like literally everything else. Episode 6 starts off with somebody else on one of those VR headsets, and it introduces Black Spider, who's part of the League of Shadows, and here he just seems like a very blatant ripoff of Spider-Man. He's pretty much Spider-Man, but evil. The same, like, jokes in the face of danger, the same witty banter, and the web slinging, and it's just, yeah, I really didn't like that. I mean, he seemed exactly like Spider-Man, which I like Spider-Man, and I liked the stuff he was saying in there, and how he behaved, but it's just such an obvious ripoff of Spider-Man that it's insulting, and I can't agree with it. So, this episode, it gets back into the focus and swing of things. Action-packed, dark, as new characters follow Brian or Broan, whatever the hell, to the League of Shadows Island against their overall team goal, and they get into a reckless, deadly situation involving Ra's al Ghul. There's some pretty great comebacks in here, dialogue-wise. The action gets a little dark. That Ra's al Ghul looks perfect in here, as he should, and the rest of the team comes to assist once they learn that the other guys went ahead and did something that they recommended not to. So, but the interesting thing about all this comes to after the big action scene where they're fighting with the group and everybody decides to stand down. When Ra's al Ghul comes out, things get a bit more interesting as he decides to let them leave, but one of the characters standing behind him after they depart says Grayson, like he's slow in the head or something, and then Ra's comments, "Oh, you're getting your memories back." This is obviously Red Hood. This is obviously Jason Todd, because as he mentions, Lazarus Pits are the only thing that do resurrections and stuff earlier in the episode. This is the Jason Todd Robin that got beat to death at the hands of Joker with a pipe. And we also see Talia al Ghul come walking up. She's got a baby. That's obviously going to be Damian Wayne. So it's interesting they got all these other Robins in here. I thought that was pretty awesome, though. I can't wait to see how all that goes, because that was a high note. But largely this episode was Brian or Breon trying to find his sister, and we get more interesting things from this episode, though, as Raisha reveals he is a part of the evil group, the Light, that has been manipulating things behind the scenes for a while. He's not part of them anymore, but he won't give up who is in charge. When Tigress questions if it's her father, he shuts that down with a no, and when she questions if it's her sister, he just tells them to get out. So who knows? But I thought these episodes were pretty good. Episode 4 was largely the best. Episode 5, it felt like it was getting really political to me. I didn't like it. Episode 6, like I said, I didn't like the black spider thing. So I'd rate like episode 4. I'd rate episode 4 at like a 7 out of 10. I'd rate episode 5 a 5, and I'd rate this episode a 6. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment, check out my GoFundMe and PayPal links. I'm not monetized. If you want to support my channel, those are ways to do so. Try to put out a few more videos. Anyways, like, subscribe, stay awesome, rock on.